and welcome to Leadership PRN. This is the Dalhousie Faculty of Medicine podcast for leaders both established and emerging. My name is Dr. Lara Hazelton. I'm a psychiatrist in my clinical practice and one of the directors of faculty development with the Faculty of Medicine. So today I'm very excited to have a guest with us who I've known for a while on a personal level, but this is the first time I've had a chance to work with her or interview her on a professional setting, and it's Donna Smith Darrell. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
So, as I said, I'm really excited and pleased that you're able to join us here today because I know from having spoken with you and heard you speak that you've had a lot of really interesting experiences as a leader. And maybe you could start by just introducing yourself, telling our listeners who you are and what your leadership experiences have been.
Okay. So I am Donna Smith Darrell, as Lara indicated, and I am African Nova Scotian, born in Yarmouth, born and raised in Yarmouth. My family is of the Black Loyalist ancestry, so we've been here for a while. My desire from the time I was a young child was to be a nurse. And one of the things I guess that have been a little bit deviant for me is that I read a lot of Harlequin romance books. My late father was not pleased with that because he felt that didn't really help my brain. But I persisted in reading them, and I actually was able to pursue my career in nursing, although getting there for me was not an easy path. I did, at an early age, probably about 16 or 17, face racism trying to get into nursing. A lot of encouragement to become in those days, a nursing assistant as opposed to the RN with the big wide black band, which is what I wanted. And I did. I achieved that. I did my nurses training in Chatham, Ontario. It was in those days 3+1. I loved my nursing career. I enjoyed the whole career of training. I enjoyed that. When I finished, I worked initially at Sick Kids in Toronto, a couple of years there. Then I came home to Yarmouth for a quote-unquote rest, and I'm still here in Nova Scotia. But exciting things for me in my nursing career is that when pediatrics is what I had always been interested in, and I've done that throughout my nursing career. When I was working in Yarmouth on the pediatric ward, I connected with a pediatrician who wanted to, quote unquote, downsize her practice. And that is how I got into the nurse practitioner role. I spent time, the program in total is about a year at McMaster. Did the nurse practitioner program and then came back and worked for about 2 years with the pediatrician in Yarmouth, which was really very interesting. At that time, I was the first pediatric nurse practitioner. So it was lots of fun in terms of the families and getting to know people and being from the community and also being able to, relate to people within the community. So from there, because I think when we think about nurse practitioners, we think, okay, so the nurse is going to do one thing and the physician is going to do another, and that is true. But in small rural areas, what often happens is as opposed to the practice becoming smaller, it became larger. And that was not what the pediatrician at that time wanted. She wanted to downsize her practice. So anyway, as a result, I then moved to Halifax. I worked for probably about a year at Dal Family Medicine. Following that, I went I was recruited actually to work at the developmental clinic at the IWK, and I was the first nurse coordinator of that clinic. And that developmental pediatrics was a passion, which I stayed in for about 26 years. And then close to, I would say, the time when I was thinking about retirement, I was approached by Cancer Care Nova Scotia at that time to be involved in the development of patient navigation because I am a breast cancer survivor. And the focus at that time was for my role would be to connect with the Black community, immigrant community, and Aboriginal community around the issues of cancer and helping those people connect with communities. And that was a role that was a secondment for 3 years, which lasted 12 years, from which I retired. But again, and I think for me, that was a huge part of taking you out of the hospital and into community, because now you're actually engaging with community, engaging with the Black community, my own community, the Aboriginal community, and immigrant community. So all three presented challenges, but also very, very exciting during that time period. So I learned a lot. And actually, we always joked because the work in the cancer care world, when I started, the community capacity built in such a way that we had to change my job title. So we always at the time said I was like Prince. I had another another title.
The artist formerly known as
the
Donna.
artist, yes, exactly. We used to do that, yeah. So I think some of the things that certainly I learned, during that time period, the impact of racism, especially in our Black community, immigrant, not so much, yes, the immigrant community too, but Black and Aboriginal communities, the impact that racism has on them, and so the trickle-down effect is the health issues, huge health issues. People who, because they face racism, now you've got a serious health issue, we're not going to go see those people again. And so it's, I think that was, to me, one of the biggest learnings, and to be able to, I wouldn't say convince, but to be able to talk to people about the importance of, one, looking at your own health and trying to move past what you've seen or what has impacted you in the past has been, I would say, one of the biggest challenges that I faced.
Do you think that there's been, when you look over the course of your career, do you think there's been progress, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I would say that there has been some progress. One of my community passions has been the Health Association of African Canadians, and I've been involved in that. I think there probably maybe 23 years, and so I'm not one of the founding members, but probably maybe a year after they were founded, I became involved, and that whole focus, I guess I had the privilege of being able to have the work, but also being from the volunteer aspect of it, dealing with community. So yes, I would say there is certainly a lot of improvement. There's more, needed, but yes, I would say lots. I think people are less resident to talk about, illnesses as they were in the past. I mean, I think a lot of past would be if you're going to the hospital and there's a diagnosis of cancer, you're not going to come out, So I think there has been some progress there. Yeah.
When you look back at the beginning of your career, or when you were deciding to study, there were these challenges, and I won't ask you exactly how long ago that was, but
it was a while. It was a while.
So what do you think were the reasons that? So you felt this passion and interest in nursing. What led you to persevere through some of these challenges to actually get the training and to go on to become a nurse practitioner?
Well, I think one of the biggest factors in my life was my parents. They were very education was everything to them, and if this is what I wanted and they could see no reason why I couldn't achieve it, then they were the backers. And also, I think within myself, in school, I had classmates who, in those days, marks were everything, and our marks were comparable. And so if they were getting into nurses training, why couldn't I? You're right. Of course, naive at 17, 18 years old, you don't look at the skin, right? You just look at what, got the marks. Marks are the same. And, this is where I want to be,
And I think you've been recognized for some of your contributions, right?
I have, yes. I've had the Atlantic Center of Excellence, Women's, I received that award. I've received an award from W.P. Oliver from the Black Cultural Center. Yes, I received several awards, yeah.
Have you had a chance to mentor new leaders or new healthcare professionals?
Well, certainly through the Health Association of African Canadians, yes. We've very much taken on some of the young people who are coming. And I'm very much an advocate that, when you get a certain age, you need to step back, but you need somebody young coming in there and helping you. And I really believe that, there's been a lot of young people who have come through. I can think about them. It's funny, I was just reading an article now. Somebody is asking me to do something, and the young woman, I can remember when she was a volunteer with the Health Association, and she's a physician, so yes. Yeah.
That's very inspiring, isn't it?
Yes, it is really very inspiring. Yeah.
What advice do you give to younger people who are at the beginning of their career?
Well, I think first of all, it depends on what you want to do. And I think there's nothing wrong with talking to somebody older who's been through it, to get some advice from them, to work hard, believe in yourself. Don't give up. I mean, you may be knocked down, but, you can get back up again. And it may be tough. It may be really tough, but that's what I would say. My advice to them would be, yeah.
Would you say that to your younger self if you were going back? Are there things that you wish you could tell your younger self?
Well, yeah, there are things that I could tell my younger self. Like I could tell my younger self that, when I did the nurse practitioner, right, and I really enjoyed it, I would tell my younger self to push on to medicine, right? And actually, the physician I was working with, she, encouraged me to do that. But I just thought, oh, gee, I don't know if I can do that. And, in retrospect, yeah, I could have.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've made so many contributions in nursing.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But that's a nice background to have. It would have stead me well. Yeah.
And so when you're talking with younger people, some of them are people from African Nova Scotian communities and so on. Is that right?
Some are from our communities, yeah. And some are immigrants, who are new here. Yeah. So, yes. Yeah.
What do you hear from them about their experiences?
For especially the young nurses, they do experience a lot of racism still. I've heard stories of young nurses who are their students, and they are assigned a patient, and the patient refuses to see them, based on their race. I've also heard from the young ones that, and I experienced this myself, that some of the instructors, they're still of the old school, and if
Still of an old sort of racist school?
Right, yes, yeah. I was trying to be polite.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and I think for young Black, women especially, if you have not come from a situation where, okay, Granny was a nurse, Daddy was a doctor, you really have to really fight when you get in the field, because they've got a lot of experiences you don't have. But what I always say to them is that's okay. Just learn, right? And be yourself. Don't sell yourself short to get where you want to go.
It's interesting that the challenge of patients, well, not just patients, but patients making comment to learners who are from racialized groups, Black,
Exactly.
and so on. It's something that I think we try. So in faculty development, we've tried to put on some sessions and have some resources. Actually, Sonera States, who I interviewed previously, has done some work trying to help faculty understand how to support
Right.
learners when that happens,
Yes.
especially white faculty. We might not have experienced that, and how do we support the learners when something like
Exactly.
that happens?
Yeah. And it is, I'm sure, if I look at it with a clear mind, it's challenging from both perspectives. But for the learner who is a Black or brown person, it almost, it sets up a wall, a barrier. So the next time, how are you going to challenge that? How are you going to face that, right? And no matter who we are, no matter how strong we are, it does niggle at you, and say, well, is it me or, what? How should I have approached this? Is there a different way?
Do you have any suggestions for white faculty, white teachers on how to support the learners if that
Well,
happens?
I think that they do need to, and certainly one of the things that we have done through the Health Association is they need to be able to learn, first of all, what communities people are, where the communities exist. Like we're talking about African Nova Scotians. We're not just North Preston, East Preston. We're across the province. So to learn that, also the importance of religion, what religion means to people in our community. And also the other thing is that a lot of people in our community at the present time, there's a lot of biracial people in our community. And so you need to really stop pigeonholing people. That's would be my advice. And I have been involved in some of the education sessions for med school and have done a few of those.
That's great.
Yeah. So like to feel that we were part of that, pushing for that to happen. And certainly, I certainly know from my own personal opinion is that I had a health issue myself. And one of the things that delighted me was that, not the health issue, but the physician was a younger physician. And one of the second or third things he mentioned to me was, well, now we have to look at your race. And to me, I'm like, okay. Because I was going to bring it up anyway. But, he obviously has said, okay, I'm not just looking here, straight down the road. So that was encouraging.
That is encouraging. And it was done in a sensitive way. And
very, very, very sensitive, yeah. Oh, yeah. He just, it was like, he wasn't uncomfortable talking about it at all. No. So these are the things that I'm looking at. These are the things that maybe if you're Black, this may be blah, 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 and blah, blah. He just, went through it. Yeah.
So do you have any other thoughts for people who want to maybe work with communities that are underrepresented? Anything that you would advise, whether it's people who are themselves from a racialized group or people who are white? Any ideas, thoughts of how we can support that work?
Well, I think I know from a lot of the young folks volunteering, volunteering in many of the communities, has I think that's very helpful. And I guess not being afraid to talk to those people who have had some success in community. They're willing to talk. I'm willing to talk, I think that just being open, let's say, oh, well, I wouldn't talk to them. Yeah, no, they're approachable.
That's a good point in general, actually, in I've done some interviews with people around mentorship, and sometimes people have real trouble connecting with mentors because they think, oh, I don't want to bother them, or I wouldn't want to.
Exactly.
But I think most people, if we're in health professions, we do welcome the opportunity to
Yeah.
help people if they
Yeah.
reach out to us. Yeah.
Well, because it's the whole idea we want to help.
Yeah.
That's why we are there in the first place, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Donna, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us today. I really admire all the things that you've accomplished over a considerable career, really.
Yes.
A real diversity of clinical work, administration, advocacy, volunteering. It's
Community. Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's another episode of Leadership PRN. If you have someone you think I should speak to or a topic you'd like to hear covered, you can feel free to reach out to me at lara.hazelton@dal.ca or lara.hazelton@nshealth.ca. Until next time, take care.